The three friends, Liam, Maya, and Devin, had been inseparable since college. Every year, they went on a wilderness trip to unplug, drink beer, tell scary stories, and reconnect with nature. This year's destination was Pine Hollow Forest, a remote stretch of wilderness that locals avoided and the internet had very little information about. That should have been the first red flag. They arrived late afternoon, pitching their tents near a lake that shimmered unnaturally under the fading sun. Tall pines stood like silent sentinels around them. The place was quiet, too quiet, no birds, no bugs, just wind. By the time night fell, they had a roaring fire going. They passed a flask around and laughed over old memories. But then Maya pulled out a worn book she'd picked up from a secondhand store that morning. Found this in the horror section. It's got stories about this forest, she said. She flipped to a page titled, The Forest That Whispers. Legend says those who camp in Pine Hollow hear voices at night. Voices that sound like someone they know. If you follow the whispers, you never come back. Liam scoffed. Classic campfire creepypasta. Devin chuckled. Next you'll say there's a ghost here or something. But Maya didn't laugh. I'm serious. It says the forest remembers those who enter. And it feeds on your memories. They all fell quiet for a second, unnerved despite themselves. Then the fire suddenly dimmed, like someone had sucked the oxygen from the air. I think that's enough for tonight, Liam said, tossing more wood onto the fire. They turned in soon after, each disappearing into their tents. The forest seemed to grow thicker with shadows as the night deepened. 1:13 a.m. Maya awoke to the sound of twigs snapping outside her tent. Then, a whisper. Maya, help me. It was her sister's voice. But her sister had died 5 years ago in a car crash. Maya froze. Was she dreaming? Maya, it's me. The voice came from deeper in the woods. Against her better judgment, she unzipped the tent. Fog hugged the ground like a blanket. The fire was out. She looked around but saw nothing. Then, movement, just beyond the tree. A silhouette. She followed. 2:05 a.m. Liam woke to the sound of Devin screaming. He stumbled out of his tent, flashlight in hand, and found Devin standing near the lake, pale, shaking. She was in my tent, Devin muttered. My grandma. She died 2 years ago. She was just sitting there, smiling. What? Liam asked, heart pounding. She said, you don't belong here. The forest wants you to leave. Then she just vanished. Before they could process it, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the tree. Maya, Liam said, sprinting into the woods. They followed the sound, calling her name. Finally, they found her near the base of a dead tree, eyes wide, clothes torn. She was whispering something over and over. She's in the trees, watching. Devin shook her. Maya, what happened? She looked up at them, face pale. It wasn't my sister. It looked like her, but it wasn't human. It smiled, and it had no eyes. Back at camp, they decided to leave. But when they reached the trailhead, it was gone. Literally, gone. What had been a clear path was now an endless stretch of forest. Trees had shifted, rearranged, trapping them. Devin panicked and started running. The other two chased after him, yelling. Suddenly, Devin stopped. A cabin, rotting and crooked, stood where nothing had been before. They approached cautiously. The door creaked open on its own. Inside was a dusty room filled with old mirrors. But the reflections were wrong. Each mirror showed a different version of them, dead, decayed, screaming, or crying. One of the mirrors showed Devin slitting his throat. Another showed Maya hanging from a tree. Liam's reflection was missing a face entirely. Then, the mirrors shattered. A gust of freezing wind burst from the cabin, throwing them outside. The forest seemed to be alive now, branches twisting, trees groaning. A voice echoed around them, deep and ancient. 3 came. 1 stays. 1 forgets. 1 becomes mine. They ran. The final twist. By dawn, Liam was alone. The forest had gone silent again. Maya was gone. Devin, gone. He stumbled out of the woods hours later, found by a search party near the highway. But something was off. He had no memory of the trip. When asked about Maya and Devin, he simply stared blankly and asked, who? The police never found the campsite. Never found the cabin. Never found Maya or Devin. Liam was released from the hospital a week later. He moved to another state, trying to rebuild his life. But every now and then, late at night, he hears whispers in the trees outside his window. They sound like Maya and Devin. Liam, help us. And sometimes, he whispers back. Please, if you like the video, subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And also, what's your thought about this video? Please comment us in the comment box.